So welcome to the Mavens with Moxie open house. I am Monica Primo, and I'm so excited that you're here today to learn more about the community and to hear about what we're doing inside of Mavens with Moxie. So as we were on hold, we had everyone on the call write down in the chat what they're excited about. Lisa said she's excited to rebuild her community in Greenville, make new friends, and enjoy new activities. And Betsy said she's excited to see her son and his dog on Sunday in Florida. And I'm excited because we're going to Greece for 10 days in May. So I'm super excited about that. So we're here because we all want to know what's inside of Mavens and Moxie. And we know that there's more for us at this stage of life. There's more growth, more adventure, more purpose, more possibility. And tonight I'm going to show you how Mavens with Moxie is the place to explore that. So if you've ever wondered kind of what's next for me, or what am I going to do in this next stage of life, it's not an easy thing to figure out. I've got somebody in the waiting room. We'll let her join. So when you are at this stage of life and kind of figuring out what's next, it's not always easy. I know I struggled with it, and I know a lot of people do. So how do you give your life meaning at this part of your life, and how do you find that next thing? So if you are excited about that, or you're kind of wondering, just drop a yes in the chat. I'd love to hear that from you. And if you're not excited about life, well, maybe we need to do something about that, because there's a whole lot of living left to go. And welcome, Felicia. I can't see or hear you, but welcome. So I'd like to go ahead and get started. And I want to start with why I started Mavens with Moxie. I retired at 55 with my husband, and I wasn't ready to stop yet. I feel like I have so much energy and life ahead of me. And my husband was working at a company that had a pension. So one of the last bastions of pensions left in the world, and he was grandfathered into it. So there was a lot of talk about people retiring at 55. So that was kind of the talk around the company for many, many years for the people who decided to stay and get to get the pension. And I wasn't ready to slow down yet. A lot of people were just slowing down and ready to just kind of just not be working. But I also had a desire to be around people like me, people who are motivated, who are still doing exciting and cool things, traveling, writing books, whatever it is. I want to be around that energy. And my perspective changed from being a person who is kind of slowing down in retirement to somebody who's probably going to be a lifelong worker, and switching out between work and play at different types of different times in my life, because that's kind of how I see this evolving. And I want to have it all. I want to have a fulfilling and meaningful life. I want to have fulfilling relationships. I want to be challenged. I want to continue to grow. And I want to have fun and inspiration in my life. So that's why I started Mavens with Moxie. And this, it really, the genesis of this began when I was 50, and a friend of mine gave me the book, Younger Than Me. And the perspective was that people are living much longer now. And at 50, if I was going to live until 100, I had my entire life to live over again. And that was a little bit like exciting, but also a little daunting, because I didn't know what I was going to do with myself. I was working full time. I was commuting an hour each way to work. I was an empty nester and I was bored. So I knew I needed something to get myself like I got to have some hobbies. I need to have something to do if all of this time that I'm spent working and commuting goes away. And I also it really kind of emphasized the fact that mental and physical health and well-being is so important to being vital in your later years of life. So it also kind of re-energized that in me. And then I listened to Tim Ferriss, who's the author of the 4-Hour Work Week. And one of the most exciting things that he presented in that book was the idea of a mini retirement. So rather than waiting your whole life to retire and then finally getting to travel and do these cool things, taking a sabbatical or taking some time off, 3 months, or he would have these little 3-month ditties where he would go on an immersion or focus on a project or something. And I loved that idea that you could take this chunk of time, like dive deep into something, and then go back to work. Now, he was an entrepreneur, so an entrepreneurial lifestyle can lend itself to that. But that was very exciting to me. And when I started, when we first retired, we did exactly that. We took time off, took a year, and traveled through Europe, went to 20 countries and 87 cities, had a wonderful time. But then I was ready to do something else. And the third inspiration for Mavens with Moxie was when I was a professional organizer, I would attend the national conferences. And it was so inspiring to be around this entrepreneurial spirit, the energy, the ideas and possibilities that I hear people talking about as they're learning and growing and trying to build their businesses. And during some of the breakout sessions, or even inside of some of the sessions, there were opportunities where people would just, volunteer what they were working on. And I remember in particular this woman saying, I am going to start a disaster preparedness program in support of Emergency Preparedness Month in September. And across the room, somebody else raised their hand and they said, I would love to collaborate with you on that. And I was so inspired by that energy and that willingness to come together and work together and share. And it just showed me the power of collaboration, the power of being in an environment where supporting each other and lifting everyone up was encouraged. So all of those things came together and made their way into Mavens with Moxie. So this is a community that's designed for women who want to take action, who want to challenge themselves, create new possibilities, do something, whether they're pivoting out of a job into something else, whether they're empty nesters and trying to figure out what's their next thing, whether they are retired and kind of tired of not doing anything. But it's just an exciting place to explore new possibilities. It's also a space to collaborate, to learn, to grow with like-minded women who are still strong and vibrant at this stage of life. It's an environment that encourages you to support each other and share your talents and skills. And I know when you leave your career at the top of your game, at least for the people that I know, like you still feel quite confident and capable, and you have a lot of knowledge wisdom that you've grown over the years and experience that you're willing to share and help each other with. And that's what I'm encouraging in this community is to help each other. Somebody might have a project or an idea for something, and there's another person in the group who says, I can help you with that. They have the expertise. And I also think it's so inspiring and motivating to hear what other people are doing, the adventures they're going on, the projects they're doing, the cool things that they're starting or trying in their lives. And Mavens with Moxie is designed to do all of that. So it's a bold, empowering community guiding you to create the Encore life on your terms. And whatever that is for you, it could be anything. And that's what we're here to explore together. So inside of Mavens with Moxie, there are several different elements. The core of it is the Encore Experiments. And every 90 days, we'll have an Encore experiment, a way for you to explore what might be next in your Encore, whatever that is. It's an opportunity to challenge yourself, to try new things, to say, maybe I want to write a book, but I'm not sure. So part of your Encore experiment, or one of them, is finding out what it's like to write a book, or maybe even getting started on the first few chapters or outlining it. It might be that you want to travel, and one of your experiments is to plan a trip. It might be that you want to move closer to one of your kids. So what does that mean? Whatever is exciting or challenging, or maybe a bucket list item for you, it's a way within 90 days to really take action. So you're starting this Encore, and whether that, you might be still working and trying to figure out something to do, well, you can do this on the side or in the background along with your job. If you, there's just in any place that you are, there's a way to incorporate the experiments. So what I love about it is it's just a 90-day thing. You can, at the end of a year, you have 4 experiments under your belt to see, is this what I want to do? Or maybe you have an idea and you keep rolling with that through the next several experiments. There's also the Maven Circle, which is the discussion group to support each other, to share your progress on your experiments, to have a weekly check-in, to support, collaborate, get to know other people. And inside the community, you'll be able to find out, maybe there are people who live near you that you can connect with, or you might find somebody who has similar interests, let's just say for travel, and you decide to travel together. I mean, it could be anything. But I think that's where it's so exciting to have the community of people who are interested in doing some things. Twice a month, we'll have a Moxie meetup. And there's 2 different portions of this. One is the Maven Spotlight, which is real women living real lives in their Encore, explaining what they're doing, how they're doing it, how they got started, whatever it is. And again, I just think it's so inspiring to see other women at this age doing cool stuff. I remember Jamie Lee Curtis years ago saying, at that time, she said, this is what 60 looks like. And she had no makeup, she had whatever she was doing. And she was still continuing to start projects, do some directing. I don't know if she was acting at the time too. But just this energy of continuing to pivot and do something else throughout your life. So featuring those people. And it doesn't have to be a celebrity. I don't have celebrity connections. Maybe y'all do. But it can be anybody who's doing something interesting and exciting. And then the other Moxie meetup is the coaching. So it's a group coaching call for everyone in the community. We'll do a group coaching of one person or a couple people to help them move forward on their Encore experiment and help them to start designing and living this life that they want to live. And as I mentioned, the Mavens mentoring, it's sharing your expertise. It's helping somebody else along who we all have different life experiences. We all have different professional experiences, and sharing your knowledge just, I don't know, it feels good, it helps other people, and I'm all about that. And then there's also accountability and momentum. So as I said, we'll have the weekly check-ins. That'll be in the discussion group, and that'll be, what progress are you making toward your goals? What obstacles are you having? What gains did you make? What progress have you had? Um, so it's a chance for us to share and hold each other accountable and be on this journey of progress together. And then, of course, being a member of the community, you'd have priority access to any new content coming out, new programs, special things just for the community as they come up. So that's what's inside. So I'm curious to know which of those things are the most exciting for you. Just pop a word in the chat. Is it the experiments? Is it the coaching and support? Is it the community? Is it something else? What's exciting you about this? The experiments. Frances said she's been thinking about this on her own already. That's awesome. Is there anything that's coming to mind, Frances, as what might be one of the first experiments you try? Oh, I can't hear you.
Sorry. I realize I'm using my phone for my audio. Sorry. And I apologize for being late. I thought this was going to be a larger call, so I didn't think it was going to be an issue. But I've been doing this sort of one-on-one with a friend of mine who's just recently retired, and I'm probably a few years out from retirement. So I'm more in the place of thinking about what experiments I might want to do, kind of coming up with ideas for that. Because I don't have a lot of bandwidth because I still work full time and I have a pretty intense job. So, but I am thinking a lot about it because I'm not quite sure what the timing will be, but it's in the next couple of years, probably 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, nice. Thank you. And Lisa shared the experiments of hers and others, that she needs to be held accountable and wants ideas from others.
So yeah, I'm usually a little all over the place, and I would categorize myself as a dabbler. So that's why I need to be held accountable. And Frances, I'm just maybe a speck ahead of you. I'm in the retirement process. I put a stake in the ground, and I'm in my 2-year window. I have 14 months and maybe 27 days left, but who's counting? And so I'll be fully retired in a little over a year, but I'm part-time now, and that is the best.
Nice. Thank you. Oops. So, a year from now, where are you going to be? If you join Mavens with Moxie, you'll have 4 Encore experiments under your belt. You'll have personal growth and learning as you go through the experiments and you try different things. You'll have hopefully some new friends and community that can support you. And I love what Mel Robbins said on a recent podcast. She said, some of your favorite people in life you haven't met yet. And that is just so full of hope and possibility for me. And it just makes me excited to meet the people within the community and the people that I meet every day as I'm in my larger community here in Georgia. And I'm recently transplanted here just a year ago. So yeah, a lot can change in just a year. And hopefully you'll be motivated and inspired for more. So the first 10 members who join Mavens with Moxie are going to be the founding members. And there are some special perks with being the founding member. The first is the Encore Accelerator, which is a one-on-one 30-minute coaching call with me to help you get clear on where you're going and maybe what this first Encore experiment is going to be. So that's a great value, $250 value that we're throwing in for the founding members. And also the Mavens Mastermind. And I'm so excited about this because one of the things I have always wanted was a mastermind group, and I got the training to be a facilitator as well. But I love the idea of tapping into the collective wisdom, and that's what Mavens collectively is. But within this mastermind group, it'll be just the 10 founding members to come together, support each other, bring any challenges or struggles that you're having to the group, and use the collective wisdom of the group to help you get some new ideas, generate maybe some different options for yourself. So that would be a once a month call for the first 12 months. And that's a $2,400 or a $4,800 value. So that's a big value and a big bonus for becoming a founding member. And again, that's just for the first 10 people who join Mavens with Moxie. So you might be wondering, is this right for me? You're still working. Is it going to fit in your schedule? And I realize that there's people are at all different places. So this community is designed to be supportive and to fit your life. We have it run on a separate platform, so you're not in just another Facebook group or something where you get distracted and it becomes a time suck. It is a platform that's very intentional for you to come in, post your wins, support each other, see what's going on, and then get on with your adventure, get on with your experiment, get on with your life. And you can put in as much or as little of time as you want into the group. Of course, when you get out of it, what you put into it, and your participation in the experiments are totally on you. But that's why we do have the group for accountability and, to hold you accountable to somebody outside of yourself. But I feel like this can fit any schedule. And I also realize that life happens. There's busy times, there's not so busy times. There's not a huge lift and a huge commitment to be part of this group. But as I said, the more you participate, I think the more you'll get out of it. If you don't know what you want yet, this is the perfect thing to start, kind of playing and experimenting. And I love the idea of these experiments because it's not a right or wrong. You don't have to go all in with anything, but it's a chance to give yourself a time-bound project to start moving in that direction and see if that's something that resonates. And at the end of the project or the experiment, you'll have some knowledge about yourself. You'll have some learning. You'll know whether you want to pursue it or not, or maybe. And that's what this is. Like Lisa said, she's a dabbler. I think we're all dabbling and trying to figure out what's next. And what's next isn't just one thing. I know for me, what's next involved unexpectedly moving to Georgia from Texas a year ago after my youngest son got married. And the bonus was I was here when my oldest son got married this weekend. So, whatever is on the horizon, this is your playground. This is a safe space to try things out and to be around people who are trying things out too. And, maybe you're not ready for another commitment. Like I said, this is a commitment to yourself. This is a commitment to you and the life that you want to create. And there is a commitment to the other people in the group, because if everybody, signs up and doesn't do anything, then there's not really a community. But it's not a huge commitment in, having to show up and, regularly and everything like that. So are there any other concerns that you have right now? Any other questions that you have? So I want to be sure to share with you, I have a fast action bonus for anyone who joins Mavens with Moxie within the next 48 hours. The first month, the first 6 months, instead of being $47 a month, will be just $27 a month. So that's one more bonus for acting fast and becoming a founding member of Mavens with Moxie. I've got the coupon code FOUNDING. So when you sign up to join, if you put that in, you'll get the 6 months off of the discount for 6 months. But you have to sign up by midnight on the 5th to get this bonus. So I'm really encouraging you, if you're interested at all, grab one of those first 10 spots and get in at the founding member rate, the super founder rate. So at this point, I want to open it up for Q&A. Do you have any questions about what's included, what we're doing, anything else that I can answer for you about what the community's like? I will share
Monica,
that. Oh, go ahead.
um, I don't have any questions. You did a nice presentation. You did a really, really good job on your graphics and, the projected direction was really very nicely done. So I want to congratulate you on that. Really good
Thank you.
photos of you too. Um, I think that I'm not looking for the kind of thing you're offering because although you may not have to give a lot of time to it,
Mhm,
you kind of have to know what you want to do. And I am working full time,
mhm,
and I do have things that I do outside of that.
mhm,
There's nothing that's popping out at me that I really want to do, so that I don't know that I'm at the spot where you are with this.
mhm.
That would be my take on it right now.
Yeah, fair enough, you know.
Yeah, I have to say I mean, I would say I have ideas for experiments, so I don't think I'm in that same place that Betsy's describing. But in terms of like, do I have the bandwidth to do this right now?
Mhm,
I think I'm more in the like how planning for the future kind of stage because I mean, like I have a full-time job and it's pretty intense, and I work in public health research, so
mhm.
the landscape is changing really quickly with everything that's changing around our new administration federally. So I'm
Yeah.
pretty much like sucking up any air I might have had 6 months ago
Yeah.
to do experiments are sucked into dealing with how am I going to manage finishing my projects that I have, going on. So, but I mean, it's an interesting idea. I like I mean, it is the kind of thing I can imagine myself doing at some point, but I don't know that I really have the bandwidth to do it in the way that I would want to.
Yeah,
Well, I'm
and
gonna push myself and I'm gonna figure it out.
nice. Yeah, and I am curious for those of you who are don't have the bandwidth, is there what would you find helpful, if anything, at this stage that would fit your bandwidth?
Um, I don't think
Yeah,
that,
that's
I don't think that for me it's about bandwidth.
Mhm,
I think that it's more about, usually I'm a person who doesn't have a problem having ideas about what to do.
mhm,
And right now, I don't have any ideas about what to do that sound interesting to me.
mhm,
Um, so it's more about either being coached or talking to people and seeing what comes out of conversation, like what are they interested in for themselves and what am I interested in for myself? I sometimes just hearing what other people have to say can spark ideas.
mhm.
But I mean, I think the way you're constructing it, you kind of have to have an idea about what to do because you've got a 90-day challenge. And I can't think of anything that, first of all, when I get going on something, I get it done in a month. So a 90-day challenge sounds like it would bore me. It would be
Okay.
too much time to do something. I could
Mhm.
be wrong, but that's sort of the sense that I have right now.
Mhm.
Um, but I think it's more about being involved with people who are talking about what they want to be doing
Mhm.
and any exposure they may have to ideas. Um, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, I think.
Yeah. Well, and I totally agree, Betsy. I mean, I think hearing what other people are doing is inspiring and brings up some new things. I just had a conversation with a woman who I met in Texas, and she founded Women Inspiring Philanthropy, which was a group of women who decided to pool their money, and everybody donates $1,000 a year, and they give these large grants, $50,000 grants to different organizations in the community. And so I joined that group when I was living in Texas, and that's how I got to know her. But she also is finishing up her PhD in urban planning because when she got into that, she said, how come there's no women here? And somebody in the city said, because your name's not on the building. And, they really sparked in her this desire to do more in her community and to be a presence. So she went back for her PhD. And yeah, and I just read Ina Garten's book, her memoir about all of the different twists and turns she's had in her career as a cook, a business owner, a television personality, all the pivots. So I am with you. Like hearing other people's stories is inspiring, and that's one of the reasons that I want to have um, the guests sharing because you know ideas are I, that's where ideas come from, I think.
Well, and I'm going to challenge myself to try some new things, and that's going to push me out of my comfort zone. So, um, right now I'm thinking about figuring out different art medias, which I'm terrible at, but who cares? So today I had my first pottery class, and that was very fun. And we made pinch pots, and mine was terrible, and who cares?
Good
Right.
attitude.
Fun.
Good attitude.
Well, and I there's so much goodness in that, Lisa, because it is about, yeah, you don't have to be good at anything. You can just try things and see if you even like them. I mean,
Mhm.
that was one of, when I was at that slow period in my life where I was bored, I'm like, okay, well, I kind of like to crochet. So everybody got a crocheted item for Christmas. Like, how many hats and scarves can I make? Because that's about my interest in it. So I said, you know what? That's not for me. I like for a special, a special thing, I could make a crochet project, but that wasn't something that I wanted to pursue anymore. And sometimes you don't know until you try whether you like it.
Mhm. And I did it with I've made two new friends, and they're both artists. And so I'm going to figure out their art and maybe take some different classes. And I'm just going to keep going. And so I'm going to throw down the gauntlet and figure it out.
Good for you. And I'll have to say that this is one of my experiments. I've never run a community before. I've never hosted anything like this. And it's something that I'm going to give a try, and we'll see how it goes. And, I hope it's going to be fabulous. And if it turns out to be something other than what I expected, that's okay too. So I think it is all about, for me, it's just about trying. It's all about trying. So if you're interested, I would love you to join Mavens with Moxie. Again, the coupon code is founding, and it's good for the next 48 hours if you want to sign up and get the special, all the bonuses plus the special discounted rate. And I just want to thank you so much for coming and hearing about Mavens with Moxie. And if it's not right for you, that's great. If it becomes right for you in the future, I hope we'll still be here. And if you know somebody that this might be a fit with, I would really appreciate if you would share this and give them an opportunity to join Mavens with Moxie and start creating the Encore that is going to light them up.
Sounds good, Monica. I
Yeah,
like, yeah,
Thank
I will.
it's a good idea. I like the idea for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Take care,
Uh,
Monica.
Thank
Night,
you so
everyone.
much.